This is Crypto Core Radio, discussing the ideas, people, and projects building the new digital economy. Get the latest on blockchain technology and cryptocurrency updates with your host, Lutz.
Hello and welcome to Crypto Core Radio. This is Lutz coming to you live with an interesting show. We're going to do a versus show. We're going to do some comparisons here today. We have one of the professionals at Komodo, and he is also part of the marketing team there. And we're going to compare Monero. He's going to explain to us the differences between Komodo and Monero. Now, as of recent, if you guys have listened to my shows, you'll see that John McAfee was really in favor of Monero. He said it's 100% anonymous. I thought Komodo was more anonymous. I don't know the technicals behind it. That's why we have Poly Crypto on with us today. Poly, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. And you've been on a couple times already on different Komodo shows. So, I felt you were one of the best to explain to us the differences between Monero and Komodo. Now, I don't know if you heard the show. John McAfee was saying that, the whole dark web uses Monero now. And, it's 100%. There's no possible way that transactions could be seen, and yada yada yada. It's 100% anonymous. Now, what's new in the Komodo world?
Well, in the Komodo world, currently we're launching our decentralized ICO applications, which are actually going to be a practical use case for our privacy technology, Jumbler, which automates the entire process of sending a Z transaction. Currently in various Zcash, and Zcash forks, you have to manually do all the steps to make sure your transaction has been properly anonymized. So this shows one advancement that we've made, and it's going to change the way things are done currently in the crypto world regarding ICOs. So it's a good use case for privacy technologies.
Cool. Now, we touched upon decentralized ICOs yesterday in our fireside chat with Grul Satinder and Juan. And, why don't you give us a little breakdown as to how that works real quick before we get into the differences?
Okay. Well, with the decentralized ICO, the biggest difference is on the side of the issuer of the coin or token, is that their supplies are spread out amongst multiple servers, and the exchange part is done on our decentralized exchange layer, BarterDEX. This allows the issuer to have very relatively small amounts going on the order book, so a whale can't just buy up everything at once. It also adds it's a little bit of a hacker protection, because it's easier to hack one node or computer or server rather than hundreds. On the client side, people can participate anonymously. A lot of coins are running their ICOs through Bitcoin or Ethereum, both which are not anonymous at all. In our system, by going through Komodo, you can use our Jumbler application and have your coins with no transaction history be put into a fresh address, and you participate in an ICO that way. So it's a big improvement on the way things have currently been done.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Okay, I like to hear the explanation from different people. Sometimes it's you could understand it a little better when someone else explains it. I think it's going to revolutionize the way things work. If somebody wanted to participate in a decentralized ICO, how would they go about that?
Currently we are working on our first decentralized ICO with Monets. However, there will be a standalone application to participate across multiple operating systems. Also, in the future, that we hope to have this accessible via the Agama wallet as well.
How does it protect the ICO? You know, how does it protect the person doing the ICO from regulations and laws? Does it at all? You see a lot of KY. Everyone following now the KYC due to all the regulations. Are they now immune to the regulations using the decentralized ICO method?
Well, it's always the responsibility of the issuer to comply with whatever laws in the jurisdiction that they're in. But where the decentralized ICO really shines is in areas where it's you know where it's gray. Like for instance, it is it possible to actually comply with all the different laws regarding ICOs and securities and various other things that in every single country around the world? I would say no. So it's always going to be the responsibility of the issuer to comply with where they live. However, the decentralized ICO allows them to give access to people who are in jurisdictions where the legal realm where ICOs is might be a little bit gray. Um,
I see. All right. Uh, so if I did not want to follow the regulations, would it help me in any way?
well, yes, I mean it's because you're spreading all the coins out all across the world. But if you're doing it as a legitimate business, it's always wise to follow the regulations where you're at. It just will save you a lot more headache in the future if you just play by the rules.
Right, because at the end of the day, does all the money still goes to this one wallet that they're collecting it from, right?
Well, that's a little bit of a difference in the decentralized ICM model is that it can be spread out amongst multiple different wallets. Um, and keeping the coins separated, mitigates risk of any catastrophic event from happening, and you losing your coins or losing the tokens you're supposed to give out to people.
All right, very cool, very cool. I suggest people take a look at that if they're doing an ICO. I mean, if somebody wanted to do an ICO, how do they start? Who do they talk to?
Well, currently, we're in the process of getting a framework to onboard businesses to do decentralized ICOs. But the best steps, honestly, are to have a fully written game plan, actually to be a business or service who's already up and running, or at the very least, has a working product about to hit the market. They need to have all their ducks in the row, how they actually want to implement the blockchain technology, and also and the other features found in Komodo. And their best way to get a hold of us is through Slack or reaching out to us via email on our website.
All right, very cool, very cool. All right, so let's get to Monero. What do you know about Monero? How does Monero work?
And well, Monero works. Its privacy is based off two main factors: ring signatures and stealth addresses. So, ring signatures protect the sender of the transaction. It does through uh, a plausible deniability mechanism. So, the premise is if several people are signing a transaction, which person actually really signed the transaction, and without an actual person to accuse of a crime or misdoing, then it makes it very hard to link that transaction to any specific person. The stealth addresses, which are also found in like Bitcoin and other coins, protect the receiver of the address of the coins. Um, so somebody sends coins to a self address. The address actually sends it to a separate address. So this helps protect receivers of coins by that. Say you were a store owner and you had an online shop and you had a checkout where you accepted Monero or Bitcoin or a coin that uses stealth addresses. Um, the customer would send the coins to the address listed on the site, but if they would go and check that address on the blockchain, it wouldn't show it have any coins because the coins would have been routed to a different destination address. Monero also has recently made improvements through what is called Ring CT or Ring Confidential Transactions. So what this does is allows it to obfuscate, transactional information. Before this, you couldn't see, or you could see rather, the senders, the receivers, at least which ones have signed, and the coin amounts. With this, it sort of blocks that information. It is done through a different mechanism than what is used in Komodo. It is done through like a multi-layered ring signature. And yeah, that's about the extent where their privacy technology is.
So what's the fault? Like where could it go wrong? Like how could somebody find out where the transactions came from? Is that even possible?
Oh yes, it's possible, and it's not only possible; it's been done several times already. Crypto Note or Crypto Night is very new, and while the Monero team is very skilled and talented, it's with new technology, you're always going to have bugs, so to speak. Uh, Monero has actually been de-anonymized several times, and the weakness of it has to do with its limited anonymization set. Uh, since Monero's anonymity is created by the amount of people who actually signed on to it, took part in a transaction, or took part in the ring signature, that there's a practical limit to the amount of people that actually can be a part of that. And I believe that's like around 10 in Monero, if I remember correctly. Um, this small anonymity size, it's only a matter of time, and even now that the Monero chain could be de-anonymized from that. Also, in anything that obscures transactional details, there's always the risk of some bug being found to create coins out of thin air. And this has actually happened in many different coins, Bitcoin included. But recently there was a error found in Monero that did that as well. So from what I've been reading about them, they have been looking at alternative methods of anonymization. So the ZK Starks, which is going to be an improved zero cash, variant. But the biggest problem with Monero is that it doesn't provide, for it to be a truly private currency, it doesn't provide enough mitigation against adversaries with high computational power and lots of knowledge in the field. They could rapidly de-anonymize majority of the transactions, and like I said before, they already have. You can look online. Prior to Ring CT, is like 87 some percent of Monero transactions were de-anonymized. So McAfee's claims that it's the most private, and there is it's a little far fetched. While it is true, it is used on the darknet markets a lot. It's more, I believe, due to ease of use. In Komodo, you have to actually like send a specific kind of transaction, right? You have to send a Z transaction, as opposed to a transparent transaction. In Monero, the anonymity, is automatic. It's like every transaction is signed by multiple parties. So, I believe that's more has to do with its darknet usage rather than its actual anonymization capabilities.
All right, very cool. All right, so how does are there any faults like this in Komodo?
Well, no, not like how Monero has. Now, people have talked about the trusted setup and how it is possible for coins to be have just been created out of thin air in private. However, the likelihood of this actually happening is very slim, and due to what would actually need to have transpired to actually reassemble the secret message to do these zero knowledge proofs. Um, so it unlike Monero, the possibility for coin generation out thin air via its anonymization mechanism is pretty slim to none. Um, yep.
Gotcha. How about if you had like a quantum computer?
Oh well, okay. The quantum computers, their strength is in that they can take a key, basically the curve 25519, I believe is what it's called in the key generation scheme, and figure out from the public key what the private key is, right? Um, in a Z transaction, the public key isn't revealed. Okay, it just appears as a mess of encrypted data. So it is better in that sense against quantum attacks, where Monero, the public keys are revealed necessarily. It's signed by multiple, so it's not as good against quantum computers.
Gotcha. All right, very very cool, very cool. So the price of Monero is extreme at the moment. I mean, what's the supply on Monero? What's the supply on Komodo?
The supply on Komodo is a little over 100 million coins. I'm not sure what the supply on Monero is. I do know it grows at quite a large rate, though, like some 20% a year or something. So yeah, I know it's pretty big, I believe.
It's 60 million.
60 million.
All right, so technically the price of Komodo could be half. Oh, if people were to find out about Komodo and how anonymous it is, I mean, the fact is, at the moment, is Jumbler working? Like, can people use it yet?
I guess people can use it. It's working via command line fully, and the GUI version, I believe, is testable, and a fully working version should be available to the public very shortly.
Gotcha. Do you think people will recognize the fact that Komodo is more anonymous than Monero?
I mean, I think it's going to be definitely a publicity struggle. Monero has done well on the front of promoting itself as the number one privacy currency. But at the end of the day, it's whatever actually works best is what's going to get adopted. Um, and Monero's flaws are just too glaring to claim it's the ultimate privacy coin.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I agree. So when it's fully functional, fellas, I think Komodo will rise. Uh, till then, right now, they're still working on it. You could go into Slack, check out the TradeBots channel, and you can watch them work all day long. Uh, is there anything we should, coming out soon with Komodo?
Well, yes. Speaking of the Jumbler and privacy, I mean the users will be able to actually test its functionality, with the DICO. Because if I remember correctly, there is going to be a standalone app version which incorporates Jumbler. Pretty positive on that, because it's one of the purposes behind decentralized ICOs that users can use the Jumbler to participate anonymously. So it was coming out in the pipeline soon. Also, um, we're working on several other things regarding the barter deck swaps and that's going to be coming in the pipeline soon. I would expect a fully working user, at least the first user ready version within the next couple months.
All right, very cool. So, yeah, I heard you had a lot of good people coming on the team. You've been hiring some new people. How's that working out?
It's been going well. It's catching everyone up to speed and stuff is there's a lot of stuff going on Komodo, so it's we're keeping them busy. um, and it's good to see different perspectives. The majority of I guess you would call it original team, all came from the NXT community, but this is a different wave of people, so it brings in new and different ideas and different organizational processes. So we're working to incorporate both worlds together and create a very dynamic and powerful team.
Very cool, and I'm glad. I was glad to see you guys are hiring. I mean, it shows that the team is working. I mean, how many coins do you see? A team, hiring constantly and working constantly, and you actually get to see it in the TradeBots channel, which is really cool. So, I think that's it. Let's keep this nice and short, right? I mean, statistically, after an hour, people start dropping off. So let's keep this one nice and short. Is there anything you like to? Oh, hey, how about that website? Was that ever finished?
Oh, the redesign of Komodo platform. Currently, it's in the process right now. Our web developer Phidias is moving what he created in terms of the wireframe and everything over, and content is about we're getting it all ready just so we can just as soon as the wireframe's up, it's bam, put it copy paste it right over everything, be good to go. So I would expect that within the next month, less than a month.
All right. Well, I know. I've been hearing about that for a while.
Yeah, I understand. We've had several people on that job, and some didn't work out. So
Right.
When one doesn't work out, then you have to find someone to come in, take over, and then find out all what that guy did, and then where he left off. And
Well, let me tell you,
sometimes it can be difficult.
in coregroup.info, where I am now, we have we just brought on some serious talent, man. I'm talking this guy. He's had 4 or 5 days. The website is up. I mean, he is good at what he does. He is good. He wireframe. He gave me a wireframe in like 10 minutes, and it was beautiful. It looked really good. He does it professionally. We got some serious talent coming in core group. I don't know how I found them, but I found them, and he found me because he saw the site. He's like, "Oh man, I could hook you up. I do this for a living." He works for this big company. I'm like, "Wow, he is." It was amazing. Let me tell you, it was like, "Oh man, if I knew this guy before," and it's not that bad. His price was pretty reasonable. So when you guys, if you guys need help, let me know, and I'll hook you up with his digits.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Always looking at taking a look at new talent about. Can always use the extra help.
We're having him redo all our sites. You know me. I'm the guy that created most of them, right? But listen, I don't have a big head. I know I suck. So.
I'm not the best web designer myself either, so
I know I suck. And when someone comes along and shows you like a design that looks like a lot more awesome than what you could do, I'm like, you know what? I give in. I throw in the towel. I go, it's all yours, buddy.
Yeah, and it's best for the long run too. Let people do the work that they're destined to do. So.
Right. Do what they're good at. I'm just the type of guy that keeps pushing through no matter what. Even if I suck at what I'm doing. I want to get it completed. I want to get it done. That's the main point. The reason why I do it. All right. So coregroup.info continues to work with Komodo. We're trying to get more press releases out. and we're just waiting on Komodo. I'm waiting on Komodo, and I know a lot of people are waiting on Komodo. So I think once Komodo comes out with the GUI and it's easy to use, man, forget about it, man. Monero will have a run for its money.
Oh yeah, exactly. The funny thing about Monero, especially, is besides the currency function, it doesn't really have any other use. So I think Komodo is going to rock the entire crypto world with how many use cases it can actually pump out.
Hey, listen, if there's a guy out there that knows that's like a developer for Monero, or is a professional in Monero, please come on the show. We'll have somebody from Komodo come on also, and you guys could tell us the differences. Legit conversation, and you guys could talk about it and see the differences. If there's something that we missed out in this show, if there's something that was explained that doesn't sound right to you, come on the show. Contact me, press@coregroup.info. Just contact me, and we'll set up a show with Komodo, and we'll do a part 2 of the show. And you guys could get the technicals down, because there's a lot of technical people out there. They'd love to hear the details. A lot of people don't understand the technicals, but there are a lot of people that do, and they would love to hear it. So, come on the show. Hit me up, press@coregroup.info, and I'll be waiting for you. And so will Polly, and we could even bring another dev on from Komodo, right?
Yeah, we're always willing to speak and help out with the core family.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's basically just educating people about your coin. So if there's somebody out there that feels Monero is better for some reason, or the technical reason, come on the show, because we definitely need to hear the technicals. All right, man. Thanks for joining us today, Polly. You the man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Love you, buddy. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to keep this nice and short, 30 minutes. And don't take up too much time. You just learn a little bit at a time, right? And on the next show, we're going to start a new Versus show. So the next show will most likely be about, next Versus show will be Clout.io, which we asked already, and we'll see if they respond, and Neos, because they're very similar in nature. So they're both doing something like Steemit, and we'll see the differences with both developers on, and it'd be very interesting to hear, right? The differences in technology from the actual developers themselves. And Hydro Miner will be on tomorrow. It's just an introduction. I reached out to them. It looked really interesting, and they're going to come on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, fellas. This is Lutz. I love you all. Signing out.
User in your channel stopped recording.